Episode 292.
Let me ask you guys a question about training. If you're a shop owner, what would tell you that a technician is worth sending to training?
You got to remove these obstacles from them wanting to continue that path. Why don't they want to diagnose check engine lights? There's no money in it. I'm better off doing this over here. That's an issue.
I think it'd be pretty cool to be able to, have glasses, a tablet, whatever, to be able to, walk it around an engine compartment, undercar, whatever. And, I need to know where X component is. Boom. It highlights it and go, okay, now I know where versus
component locator now.
Component locator you have right now.
Yeah.
Welcome, Aftermarketers, to Remarkable Results Radio. Listen to learn just one thing from today's episode on your journey to remarkable results. Hello, aftermarket professionals from North America and around the world to Technician Talk, Part 4. Carm Capriato here, and welcome to episode 292 of the Remarkable Results Radio podcast. It was at the end of 2017 when I convened the virtual studio with Matt Fanslow, Bob Heipp, and Peter Landry, and also special guest Tom Myers. As usual, we had an open mic format, but picked a few topics to dig into. There are some very hot, intense moments and very good banter among us all. I can always count on this team to bring their passion to the discussion. Agree or disagree with these diagnosticians, they aren't afraid to share what's on their mind. The Remarkable Results Radio episodes are supported by Federal Mogul Motor Parts and Garage Gurus. For serious technical training and support, online, on-site, and on demand, Garage Gurus is everything you need to know. Find out more, fmgaragegurus.com. You find the podcast social network connections at remarkableresults.biz/social. And welcome new Facebook friends, Mike Agostino, Alan Sims, Sean Michael Cahill, Jason Sims, and David Felton. And new LinkedIn connections, Dave Eastman and Mike McGroherty. Please don't forget about my free listening app that you'll find on your app store. Search for Remarkable Results Radio, download, and find a very smart way to listen and keep up with the Aftermarket's premier learning venue. Now, I'm positive that the quality and value of the interviews will support your continual learning strategy. And I'm proud to be able to bring you these podcast episodes each week to fill your library with powerful learning content. Find the show notes for this episode, remarkableresults.biz/E292. Now, gear up for the Technician Roundtable Part 4 with Matt Fanslow, diagnostician and shop manager at Riverside Automotive in Red Wing, Minnesota, Bob Heipp and Peter Landry from Mobile Auto Solutions, and Tom Myers, a Chicagoland Napa Tech of the Year who discussed his move to South Carolina and his departure from the industry to work on forklifts. Now, as usual, these guys brought their opinionated selves to the interview and yet spoke from the heart about topics they are passionate about. Some no-holds-barred discussion points. There are times where there is no sugarcoating, and that's good to embrace all sides of an issue. Just a few of the topics we discussed: shops charging for diagnostic time, opinions on social media, a discussion on augmented reality. They discussed that techs need to help business owners make money, and therefore owners should share the wealth. And we talked about shop owners training their top and best vested technicians. Now listen to Tech Talk, the Technician Roundtable Volume 4 with Matt, Bob, Peter, and Tom.
So I figured we'd start off talking about Matt's whiny Facebook posts.
We should. They come off very whiny.
And why is that, Matt?
I like to whine. I'm good at it.
Carm likes wine.
For me to do. I don't have to put forth a lot of effort.
I like wine. Bob brought wine, didn't you, Bob?
No.
That's beer, eh?
Oh, hey, it's some dark ale there, huh?
Homemade.
No, this one isn't.
It's great to welcome Bob Heipp from Mobile Auto Solutions, a technician and a technician manager out in Chicago, right, Bob?
Correct. Yeah, that would be. That's right there.
And
there's so many guys that are so much more qualified than I am. That's why I'm not a lead tech.
You know, every time he says that, every time we get together, he has to say that. Okay,
there is some truth to it.
We'll accept that.
It's a very talented group. However,
It's a very talented group. I mean, if you're part of the group, you've got talent. But there are some exceptional. There's people with exceptional talent in the group.
What about Pete?
Mr. Landry.
I'm a slacker.
Hear that? Did you hear how the pronunciation of that was? Landry.
Yeah, Peter Landry.
No, you.
Right.
I've had that wrong then for a long time.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've been goofing up.
And Fanslow.
Fanslow, yes.
Stress the slow.
Yes.
Peter Landry's with us from also Mobile Auto Solutions, ASEL1 Master, Milwaukee metro area, right, Peter?
Yes, sir.
Matt Fanslow, diagnostician, shop manager, Riverside Automotive in Red Wing, Minnesota. And we have someone new with us today. Not new to the podcast, but new to our tech roundtable. Tom Myers, welcome back.
Well, thank you.
Tom Myers was with me in episode 158, the 2009 Napa ASE Tech of the Year in Chicagoland, who's, I know back when we did our interview in ASEL 1, 40 years in the business.
Yep.
And you left our industry, Tom.
Yeah.
Or did the industry leave him?
I know.
It's probably a little bit of both. After listening to you guys' last podcast, I got a hold of Matt and said, I got to get on with you guys because virtually
so much fun.
Virtually every point that you guys talked about on your last podcast was the reasons why I ended up getting out. Just like I got too burnt out and, not enough reward anymore.
So let's see what we can do to get the shop owners that are going to listen to this to understand. I think they know. I think there is a struggle to do the things that you were looking to do. And I think there's some shops that are trying to turn themselves around, and there's some that can't. There's some that want to. Before we lose good guys like you, Tom, can you give us the top three?
Oh, as far as what they need to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you have a guy that is obviously putting forth the effort to in the business, you need to somehow reward him or prove to him that you're as committed to him as he is to your business. That's one thing. Obviously, another is paying for great training and not leave it up to the technician to pay for it. They need to. I feel that the owners need to step up and take care of that. As the other three guys are aware of, I was at Visions every year, and that was on my dime.
I thought you came with the whole shop at one point and the owner paid.
That was one time, the very, very first time. And then every other time you saw me there, I was on my dime.
So the owner didn't see value or is a dumbass.
Yeah.
Well, I think the two statements are the same.
Oh,
yeah.
He failed to see value. He's a dumbass.
Right.
But I appreciate you breaking it down multiple ways for us.
I live in South Carolina now. After living for most of my life in Illinois and working at some great shops in Illinois, the owners down here do not get it. They just don't get it. I'm obviously not leaving South Carolina and coming back to
good taxes.
Taxes are awesome.
No, I mean here in Illinois.
Yeah, I don't want those taxes.
How would you compare? How would you compare the cost of living in? Would you say South Carolina?
Yeah.
Is it much lower than Illinois?
Yeah, it is. But you also have to remember everything else kind of goes along with it. So.
In what way?
Pay. Well, yeah. I mean, pay.
That's the first thing.
Right. That's what I
mean.
Of course.
Yes, cost of.
That's why I'm just trying to.
Yeah, obviously, gasoline is way cheaper.
Yeah.
Groceries.
A $20,000 car is still a $20,000 car.
Exactly.
But housing
is cheaper. You get more for your money, and your real estate taxes are tiny.
I bet you I can outdo you.
Yeah.
You know, you just said they don't get it. You left the industry to go to work in kind of industrial work?
Yeah, I ended up going to work for a forklift company.
Okay.
They hired me originally as a mobile tech, so I would have been in a van going to customers and working on forklifts. They have since decided to keep me in the shop. They obviously have seen a value with me in the shop, assisting the shop foreman, and when he's not there, I have become the shop foreman. Within 3 months of me being there, I was already taking kind of control of the shop. So I kind of was just sliding right back into what I've done for the last 35 years of my career.
No regrets?
I really don't have any regrets. I do miss what I've done for 40 years. That's my biggest problem. I've had to really come to terms with that. But
you left, Tom, for better pay. A lot of decisions like that are for the good of the family.
Yeah. I mean, the pay is obviously I don't have to deal with flat rate anymore. This is an hourly paid job. Anything over 8 hours is time and a half. If you get called in on a Saturday, that's completely time and a half, and Sundays are double time. You know, paid vacation.
Is this a government job or what?
Yeah.
What about your tools?
My tools are at the shop. Once a year, it's not a lot, but they give you $300 towards tool purchases. They give you $150 towards work boots.
$300 doesn't cover all the lost 10 millimeters.
Oh, you're absolutely correct. But that's $300 that I did not get any place else I've ever worked.
Tom was rattling off what, when he was interviewing.
Yeah.
He's just kind of rattling off what they were offering. And he's like, Matt, I've been doing this for 40 years. What was I thinking? Because they're offering stuff he's never had before. And it's not like insurance, 401k.
Absolutely.
That's contributions to work boots, safety glasses, correct?
Oh, yeah. They give you safety glasses.
That's insane.
You know,
how dare they make you wear that bullshit?
Yeah. So some of it's big. Like the insurance is big, right? For a small business, that could be a tremendous burden. But some of the other stuff, the little things that add up, you're just now getting it. Paid uniforms, correct? You've always paid for your own uniforms.
I've always paid for my own uniforms. Cleaning. Obviously.
Always? I thought you said you worked for good shops in Illinois.
Well, every shop I ever worked at, that's the way it's worked.
Wow.
So you didn't have to obviously pay for the setup, but you pay for the cleaning every week, which is, it's not a lot. You're talking $10, $11 a week, but in 52 weeks, that adds up.
Bob, you have to pay for your cleaning?
Right now?
Yeah, of your uniform?
Bob, do you get dirty?
Well, no, I don't pay my wife anything.
Okay, so you don't necessarily, you have a company shirt and she washes it.
Correct.
What about you, Matt?
The company provides uniforms and the laundry.
That's how it's always been at every shop I've ever worked at.
Yeah.
I can't remember the time that I haven't paid for uniforms.
Brake jobs are a staple component of all successful shops, and getting the brake job right helps build a quality reputation for any shop. When the best is called for and stopping distance, rotor wear, and pad life are important to every shop and its customers, Wagner OEX brake pads are your only choice. Based on benchmark testing conducted by Link Engineering Company, Wagner OEX pads can stop a pickup, SUV or CUV, up to 50 feet sooner. Based on internal testing comparing new Wagner OEX to other Wagner offerings, the unique design of Wagner OEX increases pad life up to 2 times longer. The customized shape and slot design of each of the more than 114 SKUs creates a turbulent airflow that allows for cooler operation and improved stopping power for the vehicle on which it was designed. Wagner OEX cover 95% of the U.S. market of pickups, SUVs, and CUVs. Wagner has the science behind stopping perfected. They conduct 13,000 critical tests each year, and as of today, have 258 issued patents with 68 patents pending. Wagner has earned their stripes. Now they want to earn yours. Install Wagner OEX, the customized brake pad that can stop your customer's truck up to 50 feet sooner. Know why you install Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust? Every part that goes into a Felpro box is validated and approved by a Felpro engineer. Product testing and validation is an integral part of Felpro's engineering, manufacturing, and field testing, where vehicles undergo tests that log over 1 million miles every year. They also reach out to you, the pro, through technology blogs and their technical forums to listen, learn, and keep in touch with you. It's amazing to think that Felpro produces over 325,000 gaskets per day. That's 325,000 per day in their 1 million square foot facility in Skokie, Illinois. Under the same roof, engineering and manufacturing uphold Felpro quality, utilizing 4,500 active production tools with tooling tolerances to 5 microns. Now that's smaller than a human hair. A tight tolerance like that ensures the sealing ability of Felpro gaskets. And their own in-house chem lab develops proprietary formulations like PermaDry Plus to produce 35,000 molded rubber sealing components every day. Plus, with Felpro, you get coverage from 1955 of 96% of all domestics and 93% of all import vehicles. So feel confident that with new engines and new technologies, Felpro will be there with innovative solutions to solve your customers' sealing problems. Felpro, the gaskets professionals trust. Go to felpro-only.com for more information. So, Tom, so interesting that this comes out. You had mentioned, just a little bit ago, you said the shop owners down here just don't get it. So what you're saying is whatever was your program in Chicago is almost the same in the independent shops in South Carolina?
No, independent shops in Illinois, I think there's a lot more up there that actually put forth the effort to train their guys. And
I think that you're wishing, I don't know how else to say it, because I think you're looking at it in a lens of where you were in your experience versus what you found down there. But the reality is, if I think you looked at the percentages of shops down there compared to the percentages of shops up here, you'd find they all suck.
Oh, here compared to there?
Yeah.
No, they don't. I don't think
percentage wise. I'm looking at it from the aspect of how many shops I know of in Illinois, Chicago Land Market, that go to Vision. I'm looking at it as how many shops went to or go to the CAN conference or to, what was the one where you won the thing up in Milwaukee?
Oh, that was bumper to bumper.
Bumper to bumper. Same thing.
Yeah.
They moved the bumper to bumper out of Chicago and back up to Milwaukee because, Chicago sucks.
Well, and the other unfair comparison is the density of that area.
Right.
In Illinois. I don't know where, Tom, where in Illinois were you?
I was on the north.
Like Palatine was
Lake Zurich was where I was working.
Closer to me. Okay.
I lived in McHenry and I worked in Lake Zurich.
So that's about halfway between Chicago and Milwaukee. Wow.
I mean, that was the last shop I worked at for 13 years before I decided to move down here. That was a fantastic shop. He got it. He understood. He actually went as long as he could paying for everybody's health insurance.
What was he lacking to go to the next level? Some additional training, more cars?
That shop?
Yeah.
We were at that level. We were at a very high level. I had other shops in Lake Zurich sending us cars to do programming and
But weren't you at a high level because you were there?
Oh, absolutely. I left
difference.
And it went down.
Right.
But
that's not what I heard.
I'm beginning to see the mentality I'm seeing of shop owners now. Obviously, I can't from down here. I've worked at 2 shops, but I've talked to many shop owners down here. they're almost at the point of they don't want the hard jobs anymore. They don't want the diag cars. It's like they're going back to where I was in the early 90s, where you'd send stuff to the dealer because you didn't feel like working on it, because of a problem or it had to be flashed or something like that. These guys down here seem like they all just want to be Firestones.
So who down there is going to do the diag work? You're telling me it's only going to be I just can't imagine.
Well, I'm not saying that,
Well, I guess what you're saying is the diag guys.
Who's the mobile guy out there?
And there's going to be specialists, I believe, as a new business model, are going to get that work. Is it because they don't know how to charge for diagnostic time?
Yes, they do not know how to charge for diagnostic time. At the two shops that I worked at, I beat on that horse until it died multiple times.
Did you
they're just afraid.
Wait. Did you beat the dead horse?
Oh, I beat it dead.
Because that's...
Yeah.
I have to say that
is key.
If you were willing to move back to this Chicagoland area, I could get you a really decent paying job, great shop in
Milwaukee.
No. I was in Chicagoland area. I said, well, I would put him at Wheeling Auto, Dave Becker. I mean, great shop, great guy. We consider him the Mobile Auto Solutions farm team. Then we could step him up to the big leagues.
The podcast is now a recruiting station. Man, we are recruiting. We are filling jobs.
That's our scout team. Oh my!
You want me to go backwards before I can go into the big leagues, Bob?
Farm team. That's really good.
You got to hit a few homers and,
Hey, Tom, thanks for the update. We appreciate it. I mean, I think the insight's great to hear. I know we're all, it's kind of the white elephant in the room, something that people don't want to talk about. I really appreciate that. You hang around because we're going to kind of get into some other stuff. Please chime in as we...
Can we mute him if we need to?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Just put your hand up and I'll mute him, all right?
Can we do that to Pete?
I do that a lot.
You know what? I got a lot of other things I can be doing.
Yeah. Real quick. I mean, I was recently added to a Facebook group. And I noticed Carm is also a Facebook group. What shocks me is that Matt was not added to the group. And it's supposed to be about, changing the group, changing the automotive world. And I don't know anybody more outspoken than Matt.
The Facebook groups are getting kind of interesting where, there's all these different segments out there. And, I think you broke the code, Bob. Why isn't this person there? Why is this person there? I think everyone wants to help the industry in some way or another. I also think there's an etiquette that needs to be played while you're in these groups. And
why'd they add me?
Yeah, the etiquette needs to go away.
Yeah.
A lot of these guys that are on these forums and groups and Facebook, they get so butthurt over anything, any idea that's challenged. It's like, it's an idea. Who cares?
It's about stretching your thinking. It's really about learning something new and not being opinionated against it, pro or con. The amount of information that we have to learn that's new, I don't care if it's tech, if it's business management and leadership. It's wide ranging. It's not for everyone. I think about the business coaches that exist in our industry. I so firmly believe in business coaches. But not every business coach is right for every shop owner. There is a personality mesh that has to happen. It's no different than anyone being in the forum and being opinionated. Not everyone's going to like the personalities of everybody that's on it, but we shouldn't be offended by it. And I don't think we should pick a fight over agreement or disagreement. I think just let it stretch your thinking. And don't be so quick. There's this 24-hour rule that I so firmly believe in. I learned it the hard way, is, just never reply if you disagree. I think that tempers and brings more information flow inside the groups by sometimes tempering.
Well, nothing brings the discussion to life like an argument.
That's true.
So, some sort of controversy really drives discussion.
Yeah, and
So
you got
the 24-hour thing, I think, is, it's maybe good if you have to save face, or, you're a public, like for you, you got your podcast and you're supposed to behave yourself and stuff, but it's not what's going to drive a discussion.
There's a lot of times I chime in on something just to light people up, to get, a fire burning. And it's not, I have anything against somebody, or I might not even feel the way I'm talking. I could be just playing devil's advocate.
Sure.
And people are just, hell, we're around the corner is 2018, but we are in the age of butthurt. Oh. Everybody around the corner is looking to get butthurt. It's like, come on, just relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you have their egos are attached to their ideas.
Shut up.
But then you also have something called the Dunning-Kruger effect.
The what effect, Matt?
The Dunning-Kruger effect. The less somebody knows about something, when they run into somebody that's fairly knowledgeable, the person that's knowledgeable trying to convince them that their point of view may be wrong, or they may want to reconsider their position, actually reinforces their belief in their incorrect feeling or idea or belief. It's insane. And it's like social media has amplified that, and it's made it worse. And we've seen this in IATN, and the forums with ideas. Somebody would present an idea of how something might work, or the theory behind this system, that system. And then somebody more knowledgeable, whether they knew they were more knowledgeable or not, had a different take on it, a different background to support a different process or thought process or an idea on how this worked, would challenge that person. You'd have this eruption. They talk about putting flame suits on, big to-do, big argument.
And the person that's wrong would double down.
My favorite guy with that is Harvey. Harvey he's so politically correct, it aggravates the crap out of me, but he is very much of, I'm not going to accept your answer just because you say it's correct. Prove it to me. And people get butthurt like crazy because he's not willing to accept their answer. And it's like, doesn't everybody learn from that type of scenario?
Are the words impersonal without having the the voice inflection behind it and the passion?
Texting sucks.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
Yeah, I suck at that.
Especially if the person reading those texts is looking for some inflection that may or may not actually be there.
Well,
they're just
it's the
assuming.
older you are, the harder it is to read that stuff, because you're so used to voice and you're used to little things like we grew up, commas, periods, that kind of stuff that change the way shit is interpreted.
That's so true.
Young people, I've been on Skype. I've been on, text. I text all day long. I read stuff and I'm ready to, reach through the freaking computer and strangle somebody. But I know other people have gotten, really pissed off at me. And, so it goes both ways. But that's why I say texting sucks.
Can we talk about augmented reality?
What's that?
I don't know. Yeah, I do actually. I do know a little bit about that.
By all means, enlighten us.
Yeah, I just want to say that, and I know it's something we wanted to kind of jump into.
That's a great segue.
And it was 5 years ago. I can't remember exactly where I was, and someone said, "Hey, have you seen this augmented reality stuff?" And take up your phone, put on the right app, scan the ad from the magazine, which I did, and then it allowed what was going on in my world around me to actually become a moving. It was like a person with a pizza. And I scanned it, and the person started to talk to me while my phone was still, up against the ad. The ad came alive. really, really shook me. And that was maybe 5 years ago now.
Is that like the Google Stars thing where you point your phone up to the sky and you can see all the different...
The Google Maps or the Star...
Google Sky.
Star,
yeah. We can see... Yeah, I'm
you
sure
see all the different constellations and stuff like that?
So is that going to be a full functioning piece for diagnosticians someday?
I think for diagnosticians and I think for drivers. And thinking about it, the first time we saw, or I remember seeing augmented reality was actually a TV movie, Knight Rider 2000.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm serious. Remember that there's a scene where they're driving the new Kit, the red car.
Anybody with self-respect never saw or admitted seeing that freaking movie.
I'm just saying.
Bob, why don't you give us the plot quick, would you?
Yeah.
Let me guess.
But they're flying down the freeway or down a road, and they switched the screen to essentially augmented reality, where you're now not looking through the windshield. The windshield became a screen, like a PC screen, a display. And now it wouldn't matter if it was really light out, dark out. It's just basically augmenting reality so it's easier to process. And they could remove or add whatever they needed to that was important to driving. So I think we'll see augmented reality that way. And then also, I think more where you're aiming at, the actual diagnostics and repair of a vehicle, where we put on some kind of a headset and it overlays, system description, operation, where to go with your meter to test a circuit, how to take something apart, put it back together, torque specs will pop up, stuff like that. I think that's more where we're heading with that. But
do you think that the augmented driving part will really come to fruition, considering the whole autonomous?
Yeah, it depends on how fast that comes. Yeah,
I can see it becoming more reality for the guy working on a car. But the autonomous stuff seems like it's moving quite
much
quickly.
Faster than
Bob and Peter, you guys are doing cutting edge stuff, working on wrecks that are a year old, and you're expected to go in and do a lot of calibration and stuff. Do you see that becoming a tool in your toolbox?
No, there's some out there that's I'm not aware of anything available to the aftermarket that's of. I shouldn't say I'm not aware of it. There are some products out there, right? There's a couple. I can't think of a company, but there's a couple companies out there that are doing some very basic augmented reality with vehicles. Isn't that right?
I think the popular one was BMW.
No,
I think that was
aftermarket.
Oh, yeah.
No, I know BMW is, but that's not really available for us.
No, not yet.
So,
but
I think Raytheon, though. I think Raytheon is big into it.
How would it put itself to fruition with what we do day in and day out? I think that's what Carm was more asking.
Well, I would see, especially for calibrations, if you were to stand, so if you have a camera,
point on the car or the ground where you need to put the target,
it doesn't really matter. It knows the data of the structure of the vehicle.
So it could triangulate.
Absolutely. So it can determine exactly where to put your target or whatever. So all this bullshit of setting up and measuring this and measuring that, the camera in the
target,
in the augmented
whatever it will be, the headset or the glasses or whatnot.
The measures would come up on the screen. You would know exactly where the computer told you, like you say, to put the target. But one of the thoughts that I'm having here is this, and it seems like nature always finds a way. If someone can find a profit stream in something, and it either becomes a professional, something that only professionals can afford, or does it become a DIY thing?
Well, I don't think you can move past the functionality of the augmented reality tool to point you here, point you there without other specialized tools. So
it'll work in tandem.
Right.
with like the factory scan tool or a given aftermarket scan tool. And then, we're talking about adaptive cruise control or any, one of those type systems. Driver's assist, ADAS systems really is what we're discussing. I don't know if augmented reality will get there or not, because as the technology gets better, the cameras that they're using get better and less expensive. They might self-calibrate and just take the technicians out of it.
As they should. I mean, really, there's enough manufacturers doing the self-calibration. The only reason would be for from a diagnostic standpoint, when the self-calibration fails and we need to make some, determinations.
You find an issue. Yep.
Right. The safety and security, I think, of the finished product and how that car was OE built and how it's supposed to function should have that calibration done internally so it's right every time.
But I think where Pete's going is correct, especially on the collision end, that they're going to find things that are slightly
ajar.
Yeah, ajar, misadjusted, bent, if you will, out of place.
Not slightly, Matt. They will be nowhere near. Sorry.
And I don't know that this is augmented reality so much, but I think it's a step into it at least. But it was basically, and I don't remember the name of the company, but it was basically a way to find out relatively quickly if a car that was in a collision, what was bent, what was out of space. And basically it had an arm that would take a starting point at a bolt.
Sure.
Ding. And it would move you to the next bolt it wanted so that it knew where that bolt should be. Mm-hmm. Ding. Move it to the third. Ding. And it could tell you, okay, this is messed up, and how and where and what need to be pulled to make it correct.
So that would be, you're saying that is an AR type tool or function,
or a step towards it.
It's definitely a step towards it.
Yeah, I don't know that it's actual AR because of the fact that you have to put that pointer physically on that bolt.
Right, because you're actually doing the measurements and you're not changing reality in any.
What about diagnostics? Is there going to be someone at the other end of the AR screen walking you through something, helping you with troubleshooting?
That's an interesting thought process.
I'm torn on it because support is generally pretty bad, right?
I could see that actually, though. If we follow that, let's pick on Farsight. Right now, the best they can do is have you shoot the camera at an area of interest. And then...
That was the company I was thinking of.
Yeah, while sharing the same screen, essentially, the technician on the other end will try to help you. And maybe Launch is doing the same thing with their tech-to-tech thing. But I think what Carm's saying, the next step might be put the tech on the other end, putting some sort of visor on, and now it's almost as if they're there. That would be almost more virtual reality, though, than augmented, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but my thought with augmented is that you're looking at the actual engine and you're superimposing all of the systems, the wiring, where the relays are, and you've got a section where there's a support person at the other end seeing the same thing you are, and as you are taking some measurements, you're telling it, you're speaking that into your little microphone, and together you're in tandem in your diagnostics.
I think it'd be pretty cool to be able to, have glasses, a tablet, whatever, to be able to, walk it around an engine compartment, undercar, whatever. And, I need to know where X component is. Boom. It highlights it and go, okay, now I know where versus...
Yeah, component locator now.
Component locator you have right now.
Yeah, you need to find connector X30 or a comb.
Yeah, and then it has a breakout of similar to what Snap-on did. I don't know if it's still today or whatever, with a connector and pinning it out and stuff for you. So here's where it's at. And now let me give you a connector view and what the wire colors are and whatnot.
Yeah.
Don't you think this exists today? We just, maybe it's going to come out in the first quarter of 2018. Don't you think someone's working on it?
No.
Aftermarket or OE?
You look at the market for it, and who's going to have to pay for that? The OEs are going to have to pay for that.
Yeah.
Right.
Why would they want to pay for it?
It needs to be regular
It has to go consumer first, right? Like you need a market. Like who's going to buy it?
Well, no, I think it's more along the lines of the OEs, like guided fault finding, realizing their technicians suck and they need to give them another crutch. So then they work on another crutch, and that's how it get launched, because they need to get their cars fixed. And I mean, I'm not picking on OEs as far as their technicians sucks. The reality is the majority of the technicians out there suck.
But I think that's true of every field. I don't think that's... that's just...
The 80-20 rule.
Right. And they're looking for service quality, right? They want OE Garage A to provide the same level of service as OE Garage B. And you can't guarantee that the technicians' levels are equal, but what you're saying, that would definitely...
25 years ago, I did an interview at a BMW dealer, and I was interviewing for a service writer position. And the GM, or not GM, the service director is saying, basically, he's giving me a quiz on BMW stuff. I don't know jack about BMWs. What's a DME? I don't give a shit. So the guys, talk English and I'll give you the real answer. But the reality is, he's like, if we don't have our quality control within 2%, they will withhold cars for us to sell.
Oh, that's probably not true anymore.
But 25 years ago, it was, a very important thing. The reality is, life has changed considerably in 25 years, but
it's probably 1.5%.
The OEs are out to sell cars. They're not out to fix cars.
Oh, so you think they would have relaxed it?
Absolutely. Yeah. Especially.
I thought their rep is so important.
No. With the consolidation of dealerships as well, that number had to go worse, right?
Yeah, you're right.
There's no way that number gets better. I shouldn't say no way, but I think it's less likely.
I love, we seem to, pop a topic and you guys go in a lot of great place. Last time we were together, did we talk enough about training and what's going on with our world of training?
I think we went down one direction on training, probably focused on one area. We certainly didn't explore, training as a whole.
Let me ask you guys a question about training. If you're a shop owner, what would tell you that a technician is worth sending to training?
First of all, interest.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the number one, right?
Yeah.
Especially the tech that comes into the office and knocks on the door and says, "Hey, boss,
the guy that comes in hungover, probably not going to invest my money there."
Where is that, as a shop owner, how can you motivate,
You don't motivate. First of all,
you have to.
Nobody motivates. Motivation comes from within. If you are motivating, it's removing motivation. That's right. The only thing you can do from the outside. You can get in the way of motivation.
Deep, Bob.
Yep, I agree with that.
I agree with him. You got to wanna.
Well, what's okay?
Did you ever buy a scan tool on your own?
Yeah.
Really? That's weird.
Why?
Matt, did you ever buy one on your own?
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, maybe one or two. 3, 4.
Okay. So my point being is the majority of the guys out there are sitting there with why aren't you buying this stuff for me? There's lots of discussion in the past in forums and stuff of why would you allow your technician to own this? Because if he leaves, he's left with all this stuff. And I understand both sides of the equation. But the reality is, years ago, I took a class. Do you guys ever remember Roland Trowbridge?
I do.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
One of did a Mode 6 class and a.
The point of it, the class was at one of his classes. He says right on the back of this piece of paper, and I think it was a survey or something, what equipment you own. I don't want to know what the shop owns. And the reality of the class was that had nothing to do with the class, but it was many people had DVOM. And I had a list of shit that I had.
Yeah.
And the guy says, okay, look at that list. All that equipment works. If it's the shop owning it, is the battery charged? Is the cord good? Is this piece of equipment going to work when you need it to work? Who's invested? That's the reality. If you got a list of equipment, you're invested. And an employer should look at that and say, okay, I'm going to invest. I had the first time I went to Vision, I was trying to get people together to take the drive with me, maybe share a hotel room, whatever.
I'll bet you were.
Not a bed, a room.
Yeah.
That was different from you. I mean, I didn't know you then. The reality was I went to a class and Thornton was there as a student. And I said at break time, John, I think I'm going to be able to go to Vision. I'm talking to some guys and I think we might be able to go. John says, if you don't find them, you can drive with me. Now I went into work the next day and told him about this. And my employer said, screw all the rest of those guys, drive with Thornton.
Absolutely.
The reality of that changed my life. I met people that I don't think I would have ever met. One of them being some jokester that sat in the front seat, downshifting the trans and screwing with Thornton.
Could have been Fanslow.
Oh my God, would it?
That's not the way I remember it, but okay.
You say invested. Okay. Invested in what exactly?
Invested in your career.
Okay. In the career, in the company, in
yourself.
I
all of it.
I think yes to all of it.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's an individual, or not an individual, it's an all-encompassing investment of your career. Okay.
My first Vision, I told my employers, if you will pay for the training, I will pay for my ride out there and my hotel room. We were both invested in my education. We were both going to gain from it.
I totally appreciate your story because, I thought
it's not a story. This is where I'm at as far as a philosophy in life.
I totally get it. But what I'm saying is that's not where people are living. I mean, you're the minority, clearly.
Oh, for sure.
So my question is more directed to the mainstream. Like, that's who we got to get moving. So how much interest is enough? How much does a shop owner have to lean on somebody? That's what I'm kind of getting at. Like the motivated guys are going to be there anyway.
I love your point, Pete.
Not to say they'll find a way to pay for it themselves or screw them, they'll get it, like they've been getting it. They'll keep getting it. Well, yeah, but
if you have a vested guy that's in that shop, so we're going to call that guy his A tech, right?
B.
And
B.
B tech.
The way I've tried to do it is these guys see your toolbox, they see all your tools, they see your diagnostic stuff. They're looking over your shoulder. They're seeing what you're doing. If they're really interested in the business, they're going to see what you have and they make that jump. And you try to drag them along with you to pique their interest, to get them going. That's where it has to come from. It has to come from the old guys that are in these shops have to start dragging the young guys along. The problem is the young guys, younger people in the field. Probably in the 35 years, I was able to motivate 3 people to really get into it. And it's very difficult to reach people to get them to the next level, to get them going and all of that. So
look back, Tom, to the guys that you couldn't motivate. Are they still wrenching?
Some are, some aren't.
They were really almost telling you this may not be my forever career. Like so many of you guys are.
And some of the people are still doing it, but they're satisfied with doing the brake jobs, the ball joints.
So the boss sees that, Peter, back to your question, realizes I'm not going to invest in this individual's training. But yet, there's got to be one person in every shop that is worthy of that investment.
You would think, but then you look at the dollars, and the guy doing the brake jobs is probably outperforming.
Yep.
But the reality is, as a business owner, you should understand that the A-Tech that can do the hard diag, that can do the stuff that is nobody else is doing, allows the other guy to pound out brake jobs.
Where does that show up on a balance sheet, though?
You know what? If diag is being charged right, and people are selling diag time, person's going to pay for himself.
Yes.
You're going to make happy customers. You're not going to chase customers back to a dealer or go to a specialist. You're keeping it all in-house because you have an A-Tech who's been to school, who goes to school twice a year to vision type programs, days at a time, and comes back and practices their craft.
The reality is that guy doesn't go twice a year. He doesn't go 6 times a year. He goes and stays late after work, screwing around with what can I figure out? How do I make my scope do this? How do I analyze that? And the owners that are really bright and really observant say, what can I do to really encourage this, not get in the way?
Yeah, perpetuate it.
Go out and do a case study for yourself, huh?
As the owner or manager of a business, if you're going to saddle this person with a certain task, you're going to ask them to diagnose the check engine lights. That's what this person is going to be doing. You probably should be training them to do it. And if they don't embrace that and apply it, well, that they've just solved that issue. Find somebody else, maybe within the business or outside of the business. But like Bob said, you got to make sure you're not demotivating them, right? You got to remove these obstacles from them wanting to continue that path. Why don't they want to diagnose check engine lights? There's no money in it. I'm better off doing this over here. That's an issue. So now you have to do what you need to do as a business owner to make money doing that, to pay these people. You know what I mean? You have to create that environment. If you're not charging for diag, how are you going to pay this person to diag?
And the pay plans just need to be brought to reality. I mean, pay plans as far as flat rate goes, that's kind of a thing that was made up with dealerships and unions. As far as Illinois goes, I mean, it's illegal to pay flat rate. You have to pay some form of adulterized flat rate. Every state is different. So you have to work within the laws. The reality is, I mean, as an employee, you have to understand, I don't care what your job is, what field you're in, your job as an employee, unless you work for the state, is to make the company money.
Absolutely.
And as an employer, your job is to grow the business and share that money. And that's how you all grow together. And that's probably one of the things that I love the most about the guy I work for. He grows the business and he shares the money. And I bust my ass to make that man wealthy.
I like where we're going with this, and I like the question that you started with, Peter, about trying to find out who the vested tech is that needs to have a training program.
I think that's difficult to do. We'll go to the extreme, and we'll bring up a topic that's been touched upon a few times already. A lot of you guys were demotivated. You were kind of tired of it, and then you went to a class by a instructor that changed that. So I think it's really difficult to just choose somebody in the shop that deserves training, where the idea of them actually attending this training might be what flips that switch, and all of a sudden, oh my God, there's this whole other world. I'm in. I want to go. I want more. So I see you investing some money in somebody, and it's not panning out. They're not applying it. They're not buying it. They're not buying into the program. Mm-hmm. That's a whole different issue.
Next, you move on. But what I was going to say is, as the technicians are listening to this, look inside yourself. And if you're not getting the chance or the opportunity to get a vested interest in training, maybe you need to look in the mirror.
There you go.
And if you are the one who needs it, then you need to sit down with your boss and say, listen, we've got to work on this thing together. I love where I work. I love what I do. I love how the program works. We got to take it to the next level. I want and need a training program. Here's what I'm willing to do. Are you willing to do this? If I'm an A-Tech working for you and technology is changing so rapidly, so quickly, systems and technique, you got to invest in me. I'm willing to meet you halfway.
Well, and the reality that I see out there is this goes with shop owners and this goes with technicians. A lot of them say that they want to do this, but when rubber meets the road, it's a whole different story. I look at people, in this area, I know where he hates to hear anybody, give him accolades of any form.
Don't worry,
there's
nobody
a
listens.
Trainer in the area where I go seats 40, 45 guys. And it's one of the more higher filled classes. And so I won't name his name, but I will name the group, Automotive Seminars, does 6, I believe, or 7 places in this area. And they do anywhere from 45 on the high side, from what I understand, down to, say, maybe it's 25 or so. Techs sitting in a seat. Given the fact that, how many thousands of shops are in this automotive community of Chicagoland, that's a pretty sad number. That's all they can get in the seats, but they're okay with. But I send my guys, and I'm sorry, I'm going to just tromp all over them, to the parts stores classes. Some of the classes are good. Some of the trainers are okay. The reality is,
if you're relying on that stream, there's fantastic information there, and there, I don't want to discount those classes in any way, but you need to, if you're reliably going to this class put on by these people, you have to step out and try other people, because you don't know if you're getting, some people are great storytellers, and they're really making you buy what, not that they're selling you products, but buy that they know what the hell they're talking about. There's plenty of those people.
There's a marketing program that sits behind the training piece from suppliers, and you may buy into so many classes a year and go. And I know there's an awful lot of them working so hard to build great training and to hire great trainers. Point is, Bob, I hear your passion. I hear your feel of where the quality is. But let's thank God that some training classes have people in it, period. You said it yourself. There's thousands and thousands of guys that should be in class. There's 45 here, 65 here. Well, add up, in the month of November, the 30 or 40 classes that were out there, well, there were thousands of techs being trained. It may not be all just one.
I'm not trying to slam the fact that, the reality is there's a lot of guys going out there getting trained versus guys that are going home and just slamming a beer. And I know the Ryan Whitmans, the Chris Chesneys. There's a lot of guys out there working their tails off to put out good training. And I commend them.
Hey, on that note, guys, I want to wish you a Happy New Year.
Oh, do we have champagne?
Yeah, hopefully you brought it. I'll let you go to the refrigerator and get it and pop that cork.
There'd be more beer.
And bring it.
It's weird that Carm always buys drinks when we're not together like this.
Yeah.
You heard that about me.
I've heard a lot of things about you. We should do an episode on
red.
We should do a questionnaire on Ask Carm someday.
Well, when I get together with my yearly retrospect and, our 300th episode's coming up soon, I always seem to bring wine to that one.
I'm going to be at Vision going, that guy over there told me to get me a big oaky red.
Ooh.
I think the 300th episode should be us interviewing you.
Oh.
Carm.
Well, you think so, huh?
Live.
I kind of would lean more towards like a roast.
Hey,
of course you would.
live.
Of course you would, Peter.
I like where your head's at.
Yeah,
Yeah, live.
Yeah, you'd be the host.
Oh, yeah, I would have to be live because Carm would never air any of the shit.
You're darn right.
Let me interject one thing here, okay? I've listened to virtually all 3 of your guys' podcasts.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, but I want to commend you guys, okay, for taking on a series of things and multiple problems in the industry and putting something out there for people to maybe figure out what is wrong. And I've listened to them, now I'm kind of an outside guy looking in. And Carm, you need to be commended for bringing it up and, putting this together, because I think with what you guys are doing, somebody's going to get it. Somebody's going to figure it out. Somebody's going to realize that there is a problem and try to figure out how to fix it.
Thank you for saying that. I can only add to that the passion that Bob, Peter, and Matt have brought to these, now our 4th session is really commendable. And I think that's what, if you absolutely stop to listen, invest the time in these, you'll hear passion coming through. A very opinionated group of guys, but yet it lends to their passion for the industry. Hey, I want to thank Matt Fanslow from Riverside Automotive in Red Wing, Minnesota. Bob Heipp. Hey, thanks for all your stuff here today from Mobile Auto Solutions, and Peter Landry.
Hey, can you do me a favor and not cut as much of Pete's stuff out this time?
Okay, I will try to put as much of Pete that I can put in. I'm trying to remember if you sent me a gift this week. And of course, Tom Myers. Good to have Tom Myers with us. I'm glad to have you here. Good stuff in the early part of the episode.
Did he say
Tom.
gift or gift?
Yeah, it was a Trojan horse, didn't you?
Great,
Just a Trojan.
great part 4, guys. Have a great 2018. Hey, thanks, Matt Fanslow, Bob Heipp, and Peter Landry, and Tom Myers. Thanks for putting your passion on display for the world to hear. Find the show notes for this episode at remarkableresults.biz/E292. Hey, don't forget about one of the easiest ways to listen to the podcast. It's on your smart device. Go to your app store and type in Remarkable Results Radio and click to install. It's your own free podcast listening app for automotive aftermarket wisdom. Every episode release is at your fingertips. I love it when you write. Drop me a line, carm@remarkableresults.biz, or head over to the contact page on the website. You are an important reason I bring you these interviews so you can profit from the open discussion found in every episode.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,